Let's turn this guy on and see if I can hear him. He starts out the video clapping, like he's turning on a clapper or a light or something. What a pinhead.
MGTOW is a movement that I am very sympathetic towards. MGTOW.
Okay, I can hear him. All right, so we're going to do a vote here. Who wants me to review this guy on the air? Just say yes or no. Well, I can hear him just fine now. We need to somehow develop replicators like in Star Trek and limitless energy in order for utopia to be possible. Well, even if you did that, what would your purpose be? I mean, if you did that and created this socialist utopia, people would just become a bunch of loser bums who did nothing all day except sat on their couch, ate Cheetos, and played fucking video games. That would be their entire existence. Okay, so let's see what this pinhead has to say. He's very sympathetic to MGTOW.
MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way.
We didn't know that, pal. Thank you. He thinks we're morons. I guess he figures he's talking to people who don't know anything about MGTOW. Let's continue.
And the idea is that, according to MGTOW philosophy or lifestyle, or how...
It's not a philosophy, pinhead. Does this guy understand that philosophy is a tool of the mind to better understand reality? It's just a set of little dictums and tools and ways of using the mind to explore reality. There's no ideology or belief systems attached to that. That's not philosophy, okay? Ideology comes from philosophy. Philosophy doesn't come from ideology. But anyway, continue. He's even got a little mic attached to his lapel. I love it. He thinks he's so professional. What do you think? You're at CNN, buddy?
Whatever you want to call it. The cost-benefit analysis...
Oh, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Minimalize it and mock it as much as possible. MGTOW or whatever you want to call it. What an idiot.
Analysis insofar as having a relationship with a woman, a romantic relationship, and potentially family, children, and all the rest of it. It's so skewed against men at this time that it would be smarter not to get involved with women, not to start a family, not to have any sort of romantic entanglements. And instead of that, to simply go, as the saying goes, go your own way. Go without anybody by your side. That person by your side potentially being somebody who could drag you down. And that's the essence of the MGTOW philosophy.
It's not a philosophy, dude. This guy's so stupid. What a pinhead. What is he talking about philosophy? What the fuck? First of all, it's not about anybody dragging us down, dude, okay? It's about going your own way because women tend to, I don't know, want our resources, want our shit, okay? It's not a... This is the thing I don't like. People essentially take the word philosophy and misuse it. And there's no ideology either. Don't marry a woman. Don't have kids with a woman. Don't live with them. I mean that's it. Because they'll take your shit. That's it. It's very simple. He wants to make it more complicated than it really is and try to attach an ideological system of some kind when there is no ideological system.
Now, I am very sympathetic to this point of view because on many of the particulars, MGTOW is completely right. The current laws in the Western democracies are skewed against men. Men who go to divorce are going to be subject to divorce rape. They are going to lose half of their assets, and they will be forced to pay a disproportionate amount of their income, their future income, towards alimony and child support.
Vagina money, past use of a vagina, yeah.
Now, the child support, I don't think any man would really mind that part. It's the alimony that drives most men up the wall, because it seems so grossly unfair. You have a marriage of, say, 2, 3, 4 years, and you wind up stuck having to pay alimony for the next 20, 30, 40 years or forever.
Okay, so he's not well informed on alimony. It doesn't work that way exactly. Alimony generally is done at half the rate you were married. So if you're married for 5 years, you'd have to pay alimony for 2.5 years. It's only if you've been married more than 10 years that in many states you have to pay it forever. But anyway, let's continue.
It just seems incredibly unfair. And the laws, the divorce laws, the child custody laws, a lot of them are so outrageously unfair that quite frankly, the idea of MGTOW was inevitable, an inevitable outgrowth of this, you know, of just having your eyes open and realizing that getting involved with a woman is a very, very dangerous proposition, at least.
Yeah, equal and opposite reaction. So if it was inevitable, what's your problem with it, pal?
From a legal standpoint. Now, though I am sympathetic to MGTOW, I think MGTOW, how could I put it, MGTOW forever is a terrible idea.
Why is that? Here we go. So he set us up now, okay, by saying some nice things, okay, and sympathizing with us. So now here comes the drop off the cliff.
I believe that there is a time in a man's life when he should go MGTOW, go his own way, without the encumbrance of a serious romantic partner, without the encumbrance of family and children and all the rest of it. And that time is in your 20s and your 30s, because that is the time when a man has to build his career, build his business,
and make enough money to attract some young hot thing who you probably suggest we should marry so that she can steal all our shit, as you just said she obviously will do.
Climb up in his profession and make a name for himself. And that is a time when he can least afford distractions. And women, family, the whole 9 yards, all of that, it is a distraction. It is a huge distraction.
Right, until you're 40 years old, which of course at that point you should definitely have to get married and then get ass raped. So the only difference is you do it in your 40s when you have more assets, lots of shit for her to steal. Interesting logic, Coach Red Pill. Tell us more.
And so I'm in favor of MGTOW for a certain period of your life. But not all of your life.
Oh, of course not, because we have to be simp, mangina, cuck, pussy boy wimps and get married and transfer those resources. Oh, yeah.
Now, let me explain. You see, women can multitask. Women can do multiple things at the same time.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the disinformation. This guy is nothing more than a cock, a wimp, a simp. He's a PUA pussy boy. He's here to essentially tell us all of the stereotypical bullshit that the left has created that women are good at. Yeah, women are empathetic, and men are whatever the hell he said. Yeah, bullshit. That's all bullshit. Women are more empathetic. Everybody's empathetic.
Whereas men can't. Men tend to be monofocused, monomaniacal, just the one thing. Just going after the one thing. And
yeah, we're so simple, us men. We just become focused on one thing, and we go after it without distraction. We're so focused. And women, they're just so good at multitasking. What he's really saying, this idiot, it's not a good thing, pinhead. Women can't focus. They tend to become distracted easily, and therefore they don't accomplish very much. Hence why the majority of patents in the patent office, over than 90%, were posted by men, because they have the focus and the drive to actually achieve something, while women, ooh, zippity-doo-dah, oh, I've tried to focus on something of importance, but I just couldn't do it. Yeah, he calls that multitasking. What a pinhead.
Which makes complete evolutionary sense if you think about it. The whole hunter-gatherer dichotomy, the gatherers were often as not women who would be taking care of the children and when they were infants, and also gathering fruits and berries and what have you, and going here, going there to see.
You're so intelligent. You're getting into the fruits and berries analysis of the hunter-gatherer man. You're so smart.
Oh, this fruit, it's not quite ripe yet, but it will be in a few weeks or whatever. You know, going over here and getting some nuts, and you know, that kind of gathering activity. Well, you see it today. You see it when women go shopping. You know.
Wait. Hey, Pinhead, what are you talking about? The women? The women were not hunting and gathering, you idiot. How's the men doing those things? What the hell's he talking about? He doesn't even know how traditional gender roles work. What an idiot. He doesn't even know what the gender roles are. It wasn't the woman that was out hunting and gathering, idiot. It was the men. What's this guy talking about?
Often as not, they'll go shopping and not buy anything because it's fulfilling their natural instinct, which is to go out there and scope out where things are and then only later gather them up, right? Whereas
that's the men, you idiot. What is he trying to say? He's trying to say that now that women gathered and men hunted. It's the same thing, you idiot. What is this guy? What is he talking about?
What are we? You know, we're focused on the one thing of going out there and killing the woolly mammoth, right? And if we're part of a team of hunters, great. If we're on our own, fine. You know, it doesn't really matter because we're always focused on the one thing, going out and finding the woolly mammoth, killing the sucker, and bringing home the meat. That's our evolutionary diktat.
What's this guy talking about? What's he talking about? Women went out and gathered berries and left the babies in the cave, and the men did the hunting. So let me get this straight. He's rewriting evolution and biology. He's rewriting history, of course. So the men just hunted shit, and the women went out and did the gathering. What is he talking about? That's synonymous. It's the same thing, you idiot. I didn't do that anyway. This guy's a moron. Already I'm seeing this guy as a total pinhead.
And so when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, right? And you're climbing in your career, in your business, whatsoever that business may be, whatsoever that career may be, you don't want distractions. You want to be focused on getting that woolly mammoth, right?
Why is he still going on about the woolly mammoth? What's with the woolly mammoth? Get off the woolly mammoth!
But you see, there will come a time later in life where you will want to have the distraction of a woman in your life.
Really? Why? What foreseeable, possible, imaginable future would I want a distraction in my life that is always yammering in my ear?
Of children in your life. And in point of fact, you will almost ache for it. Because it's...
Oh, I'll ache for it. He'll ache for it. He's aching for it right now. This is like a job advertisement. He's essentially virtue signaling to all the feminist bitches out there. I am a worthy man in that sea of unworthy men. Look at me. Look at me.
See, the men who are espousing MGTOW, the men who tell you that MGTOW is the way to go, that you know, men going their own way, you should only do that, and women, screw women, right? Now, these men who promulgate and proselytize this lifestyle, see, they've dedicated their entire lives to it. And
wrong. No. We have not dedicated our lives to any... I dedicate my life is dedicated to my job and enjoying myself and doing whatever I want. I'm not dedicated to any ideology or anything. Meathead. This guy's a meathead. He's trying to paint MGTOW as essentially a cultist. Yeah, MGTOW men are essentially people in some kind of idealized cult. We're ideologically inclined. We're ideologues. We're in a cult. And we're dedicated our lives to this cult. Yeah, talk about a dishonest representation. Coach Cuckpill, Pinhead.
I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to say that it's a bad decision. For them, it's a perfectly legitimate decision. And it's perfectly fine if anybody, including you who are watching this, if you decide very consciously that you want to go your entire life MGTOW.
But you just said you're not going to judge us, but you're spending this whole video judging us. And if it's fine, then why the hell are you making this video in the first place?
That's your decision. But what I can say is that I don't think it's the right decision for most people. For some, it's perfectly fine. Just as in the Middle Ages, there were men, there were women who would become monks, who would become nuns, and forego the ordinary quotidian life that everybody else was embarking on.
Yeah, but they became monks and nuns because they were pinhead morons who were indoctrinated into a Stone Age religion. Okay? They didn't become monks and nuns because they were afraid that the opposite sex would steal all their shit through unfair divorce laws. Pinhead.
And shelter themselves in the monasteries and cloisters and what have you. And that was perfectly fine. That's perfectly legitimate. There's no problem with that. But you have to keep in mind that most men are not like that.
No, yeah, that's the problem. Most men need to be like that, okay? Men need to be more adaptable, and they need to recognize that women are a bad business deal in terms of getting involved with them and marrying them. Yeah, most men are not like that, yeah, unfortunately.
Most men get a lot out of MGTOW for a period of time in their lives. And I know that a lot of MGTOWs, a lot of people who espouse this idea. Espouse this idea.
It's not an idea. That's like saying being a bachelor is an idea. It's a lifestyle, you idiot. Oh, this guy is so stupid.
Are going to listen to me and just, you know, call me heretic. I don't care. You know, the point is true, that you cannot live your entire life without women. You can...
Here we go. Here we go. This guy. Oh, here we get to his agenda. You can't live your entire life without women. I'm not going to judge you. And then after I said that, I spent the entire video judging you. You can't live your whole life without women. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, Well, I've done pretty good so far without them, pal. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Not live your entire life without a family, without children. You need them.
No. See, I love this shit. He is essentially pushing the idea that you can't be happy by yourself. You need other people, things outside of yourself to make you happy. You can't self-actualize. You cannot be a full, well-developed person without some other person. There's gaps, don't you know? There's gaps in you, and you need other people to fill them. Oh, boy. Talk about a simp mentality.
As a man, because you need them to give your life a sense of purpose, a sense of validation. You need it, okay? And as you get older, you will realize that this is so. Now the issue becomes, when is it that you will have this family? When is it that you will have children? And also, of course, the obvious reason, how are you going to protect yourself from the pitfalls that MGTOW very accurately points out?
But there's the catch-22, pal. I need to have a family. I have to have a family. But if I do that, I'm going to lose all my money. Yeah, he's seen the flaw in his argument. A little too late, though. You're halfway through your own video, you idiot. In the beginning, you talk about the dangers and how they're very real dangers, and we need to watch out for those dangers, yes. But only in our 20s and 30s, but not in our 40s when we have the most resources to lose. This guy. I love the logic.
Well, let's take the easy one first. See, a lot of MGTOWs say, well, you know, cost-benefit analysis, it's not worth getting involved with a woman because you get married to her and she'll take half your assets and divorce rape and blah, blah, blah. Well,
what is this blah, blah, blah? Why is he making light of his own arguments that he very clearly made in the beginning of this video and said were right and true and correct concerns to have? But now he's like, oh, blah, 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 no big deal.
I don't have the time to get into it right here, but I will.
Oh, you don't have the time to get into it. First, you make your own arguments. You make these arguments. You say they're very clear, concise, and real arguments. Very concerning issues. And now, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's not that big a deal. Oh, but I don't have the time to get into it. Well, then why the fuck did you bring it up to begin with, pal?
A future post that there are myriad ways to protect your assets. And
really? Like how? What? Tell us so I can destroy your ways.
Such a way that no court on the face of the planet can reach them.
Let me guess. Prenup. He's so stupid, this guy.
And they are not particularly expensive or difficult ways to achieve.
Wrong. Prenups cost a lot of money if they're made well. You're talking about $5,000 minimum to get a good prenup made. You think lawyers are free, you idiot?
Achieve this. A lot of times there are very, very simple rules within the U.S. tax code. I'm not
tax code. He's just being vague now so that he doesn't have to address the issue because he really doesn't have an answer. He has no answer. Oh, in the future, I'm going to say that there's ways to protect yourself, but I'm not going to tell you those ways, and I'm going to claim they exist, and I'm going to give them to you in a future video, which I will never make, of course, and then you're left believing there are some kind of ways, and that I actually in some way supported my argument when I really didn't.
Talk about breaking any law. This is totally legitimate and totally legal, and it can protect your assets, and it's fairly easy to do. There are different ways, a lot of different ways, with very expensive accountants and expensive lawyers can structure it.
Wait, you just said it didn't cost a lot of money. He said earlier there are ways. There are many ways, and there are expensive ways, and there are expensive lawyers and expensive accountants. What? Oh, wait a second. You just said it wasn't expensive. Now you're talking about expensive accountants and lawyers. Oh, my God. How does anybody listen to this fucking guy?
But it is achievable in such a way that's foolproof, much more foolproof than any kind of prenuptial agreement. Because as everybody knows, any prenuptial agreement can be broken, okay? Right,
but you're not telling us these ways. Oh, I'm going to make a future video. But he never made a future video. Tell me the future video where he told us all of these miraculous ways that nobody else seems to know about how to protect yourself from getting divorce rate, because nobody else seems to know these answers, but he knows the answers, and he'll tell you at a later date, and then he never tells you. That's a typical leftist strategy.
So just because you have a quote-unquote ironclad prenuptial agreement doesn't mean that it is actually ironclad. It doesn't mean that it won't be violated by some judge who decides to throw it out and give the cheating whore you married, you know, half your assets.
That's right. And you know how to solve that, Coach Red Pill? Don't, I repeat, don't get married. Problem solved. Oh, but we need women. Yeah, we need them. Why? Why? Tell me why. Because I need a distraction? What are you talking about? What am I, a little fucking Pavlovian dog running around chasing the little fucking laser pointer? You ever see those videos on YouTube where they have the little laser pointer and they're moving around the fucking ground and the little fucking dog is chasing it around? Am I that much of a fucking idiot? Am I that much of a fucking retard? I have no attention span that I suddenly need all these distractions in my life? What are you talking about?
Right? So there are ways to work around this problem, especially as you get older and more sophisticated insofar as finance is concerned, which is a natural thing when you are doing your own business. You're doing your own business, and along the way, without even really trying, you're going to meet accountants and lawyers, and they will help you out and teach you how to protect your assets. So
oh, here we go. So, yeah, he's not even going to make another video. And he didn't make another video explaining everything. He's just very vaguely saying, oh, and in the process of doing business, you'll meet accountants and lawyers and just talk to them. And they'll tell you ways to protect your assets. Yeah, it's called a big fucking steel chest. Take all your assets, put them into money. Put it in a bag. It's waterproof. Go dig a hole somewhere and bury it. So that's the only way you're going to protect your assets.
that becomes a non-issue over time. The much more important issue becomes motivation, your motivation. You see, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, in your 30s, you don't need much motivation to go after what you want. Or no, that's not true. What I meant to say is, see, when you're young, when you got fire in the belly, you don't need some kind of external motivator.
Oh, here we go. See, I see what's coming here. He's going to use the old PragerU argument where women motivate you to make more money. They motivate you to do better. That men that are married essentially make more money than men that are unmarried. Well, yeah, because they got a wife and they got 1 or 2 kids. They got to provide for 3 or 4 people instead of just one person. So whoop-de-doo-dah if I'm motivated to make more money. In the end, I end up spending most of that money on the wife and the kids, and then I've got nothing for myself. Meanwhile, if I'm single and making half as much as I would if I was married and motivated by my wife to make more money because she bitches and nags me to death, well, guess what? 3/4 of that money or more goes to her, and I'm actually left with less money than if I was single, even if I was making half as much. This guy can't do math.
All on your own, you're going to have enough energy and drive and ambition to reach for the things that you want. Okay? But what happens is that as you get older, you will find that you feel that the things that you have accomplished, that they're sort of hollow if you don't have somebody to share them with.
Yeah, right. I don't feel hollow, baby. I got money in the bank. How hollow is that? That's not hollow.
Especially children. Children become a very, very big deal in your life.
Yeah, they become a big deal because they're so expensive, okay? And of course it's my kid, so I'm going to have feelings for it. So what? If I don't have the kid, I don't have those feelings for it, and then I don't have that obligation, and it's not some big deal in my life that I have to give all my money to.
Because as you begin to face your mortality, which is not like a big thing, it's not
Here we go, mortality facing bullshit.
like one day, oh my God, my mortality, it's fast approaching. No, it's going to be a gradual thing. And you'll ease into it. And as you ease into the notion of your own mortality, which you will accept much more calmly and in a much more relaxed way than I can tell you here, but you'd be surprised. Well, as you ease into that sense of mortality,
What do you mean sense of mortality? You think I don't know I'm going to die? He thinks MGTOW, he thinks people are stupid. Hey, pal, I know you're trying to sound deep and profound, but guess what? I know I'm going to die someday. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I know I'm going to die. Don't need a news flash. What's your point?
you will want to have a family. You will.
No, I don't want to. Okay, honestly, I would like to have kids. That I'm not lying. That's true. I would like to have kids, but I'm old now. And, you know, it's too much of a sacrifice. Life is about making choices, pal, and I'm not willing to sacrifice my happiness, my money, my lifestyle to have some mewling baby, which I would need to have a wife or some life partner to have because it's that or hire a nanny. Although a nanny would probably be cheaper, but that's expensive too. No, it's about making sacrifices, making choices, understanding the consequences, and living with them. And I am aware enough, and I take responsibility enough for my actions that I'm perfectly okay with doing that. It doesn't make me unhappy either.
want to have children. You will ache for it. Because you will ache for a sense that your life had purpose and reason. Especially among us who are agnostic or atheist. Because
Well, I'm an atheist, pal, but that doesn't mean I have to have kids. And by the way, what meaning? Oh, I have to have meaning so that when I die, I'll have left something behind. Hey, guess what? So I don't believe in God. You know what's going to happen when I die? Nothingness. I'll cease to exist. So if I cease to exist, I won't be thinking about what I left behind. Because I'm gone and I don't exist anymore. So what the hell does it matter if I have kids or not?
I, as I've told you many times before, I am an atheist, but I am a reluctant atheist. I am a wistful atheist. I respect and admire, quite frankly, those with belief, with religious belief. I myself...
Whoa, what did you just say? Oh, no. He just proved he's an even bigger idiot than I already thought he was. He respects and admires people who have faith and believe in God, even though he's an atheist. Are you kidding me? Hey, pal, I don't respect and admire people who believe in Puff the Magic Dragon or Bigfoot, okay? They're morons, all right? Jesus Christ, you respect and admire people who believe in the spaghetti monster in the sky, okay?
I'm not so blessed.
I mean, I respect and admire people for things they've actually done. I don't respect and admire people for believing in shit without evidence. I believe in Bigfoot. You ever seen Bigfoot? No, but I saw some footprints once. You do know that's just some guy walking around in the woods with giant wooden feet on, don't you? I don't know. Why would somebody do that? It has to be Bigfoot because I saw some footprints, don't you know? And by the way, those footprints are more evidence than you have for God, and people believe in that. No, I don't respect people for that. This guy.
It doesn't really matter why. Of course, I understand all of the arguments pro and con insofar as religion and the existence of God. But in my own case, I am just simply not blessed with a belief in God, and yet I recognize the need for such belief. The need for belief in a higher power. The need for belief that our life has meaning.
Right. Life doesn't have any intrinsic meaning. We give our lives meaning. Meaning varies from person to person depending on who the person is and what they find meaning in. Jeffrey Dahmer, he found meaning in clocking guys in the head and fucking their dead bodies and then eating his morning breakfast out of their skulls. That was where he found meaning. Different person, different meaning. Right, gotcha. Next.
As an atheist, I recognize that on my own, my life has no meaning. But my life gains meaning by virtue of having children.
So, okay, let me get this straight. So the only way to find meaning in your life is to have kids. You can't find meaning any other way. So essentially, he's trying to really mislead you with disinformation by telling you the only way you can have meaning in your life is to have kids. That's a really disingenuous, dishonest message. He must know it's bullshit. I mean, does he really believe the only way to find meaning in your life, the only way is to have kids? If he actually believes that, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. Or he's just trying to peddle his own bullshit. He's projecting here because maybe he has a wife and kids as well. Continue, please.
Because by virtue of having children, it becomes not simply a hedonistic existence and passage through life, but rather my life becomes...
Hedonistic. Oh, I love it. He thinks he's using a big word there. Yeah, we MGTOW are hedonists. We men go in our own way. Oh, we're so selfish. We're hedonistic. We only care about ourselves and our own desires. Oh, boo-hoo. What an evil world this would be if everybody was like that. Yeah, what an evil world this would be if every single solitary person on this earth worried about themselves, took care of themselves, and almost no charity was needed. Oh, no welfare? Oh, no poor, pathetic loser people. Well, there's always going to be poor, pathetic loser people, of course, but we wouldn't have nearly as many of them if you didn't teach them that it was okay to be a poor, pathetic loser and to take handouts from people.
A purpose to create the conditions and situations so that my children will flourish. That gives me great purpose, great reason for being, for working, for acting, for doing everything that I do. You see?
No.
MGTOW doesn't give you that. Because
I think I missed something. Because let me go back here. Let me see what he says.
Children will flourish. That gives me great purpose, great reason for being.
Okay, so essentially, my life means nothing. So he's a leftist in sheep's clothing. And my life only has meaning if I give life to other people and provide for them. That sounds remarkably like communism. Interesting.
For working, for acting, for doing everything that I do.
Right, the things I do don't have meaning if they're for me. I have to do things for other people. Yeah, that's communism.
See?
Oh, I see, all right. I see very well, pal. I see right through you. You're very transparent to me.
MGTOW doesn't give you that. Because MGTOW is predominantly atheist.
Not necessarily. And by the way, you're right. It doesn't teach you to self-sacrifice. It doesn't teach self-sacrifice. It doesn't say sacrifice for other people to be happy. You're right about that.
And the ones who are believers sort of like keep that to themselves for the most part. MGTOW grew out of atheism movement. And MGTOW basically...
Wait, MGTOW grew out of atheism? What? How stupid is this guy? You're so stupid, you pinhead, you. MGTOW didn't grow out of atheism. MGTOW grew out of bachelors, okay? It grew out of men's disenfranchisement, their disillusionment with marriage, with the increasing, ever-increasing amount of enfranchisement to women, and ever greater laws enfranchising women. Don't look at me. Oh, he look-raped me. Put him in jail. I mean, Jesus Christ, who wouldn't want to walk away from women? If you have a high enough IQ, you would say, hey, wait a second. This is kind of dangerous. I'm not some low IQ moron that doesn't see the danger here and who needs to follow my loins and think with the small head because the big head doesn't have enough intellectual power to tell me that she is dangerous if I marry her. What an idiot this guy is. Grew out of atheism.
Advocates living for yourself.
That's right. Ding, 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 ding. That's correct, pal. And if everybody lived with themselves, lived for themselves, the world would be a much better place. You would have far fewer people making excuses and blaming others for how badly their life has went. You wouldn't give these people an out. Oh, I blame rich people. They stole all the money. There's not enough surplus currency out there. That's why I'm a poor loser. Oh, I'm a black man. I'm oppressed. The reason I'm not a winner is because the white man has kept me down. Not because you're fucking lazy and you've used all this identity politics bullshit as an excuse to be a fucking lazy loser. Oh, no, it can't be that.
And that's an empty life. And there's no other way to...
Empty life. Pal, where you find emptiness, I find meaning. You find meaning in your own life. You don't find meaning through other people. You find the meaning for you. Other people don't find the meaning for you. And the moment that you start trying to ascribe to other people the meaning that you should have in your life, that's the moment you're living an empty life.
Put it. And again, I recognize a lot of people who advocate MGTOW are going to say, hear me speak, and they're going to say, you know, heretic. And that should prove something to you, of course, because a lot of MGTOW tends to be sort of almost quasi-religious in nature.
Oh, here we go with the cult bullshit. I will acknowledge that some MGTOW channels and some MGTOW content producers are very, very religious-like in the way that they promote it. They say, real MGTOW do this, MGTOW is about this, MGTOW is about that, and throwing out all of these ideological tenet-like rules, okay? But that's not me. And I don't think that's a lot of MGTOW channels. I think most, well, maybe not most, but I think a lot are being honest and just speaking their mind and giving their own opinions and not attaching, putting an ideological label or tag to these beliefs and saying, this is part of some MGTOW ideology. No, I don't do that. I just speak logic, reason, and common sense, and I don't create some kind of, ideological rule system around the moniker, the label of MGTOW, which is really just a phrasal verb for men going their own way. But he wants to generalize, and he wants to say we're all a bunch of cultist religio freaks. Okay.
It is oftentimes a cult. But see, it's a very useful cult.
I called it, didn't I? I've never heard this video. Everybody knows I just got this address from Sishu. I haven't heard this video before. I just called it, didn't I? Didn't he just say exactly what I said he was going to say? Like 2 seconds later, called it a cult? Oh, this guy is so freaking obvious.
Cult at certain times in your life, at certain times when you want to achieve something, especially something great.
Yeah, don't follow their cult. Follow my cult. Follow my Red Pill cult. I'm Coach Red Pill, and I have my own cult, and I have my own cult following. I don't like the fact that I have competition. Don't follow that MGTOW cult. No. Follow my cult. Follow me. Follow me.
When you need all of your faculty, all your concentration, all of your attention is focused on one thing. So my suggestion is quite simple. When you're in your 20s, you finish college, right? And you're 20 years, 25, just say it for the sake of argument, and you're in your career or you figured out what business you want to build, or you're at that stage where you're sort of like starting out. You're on the very edge of the diving board, right? Okay, that is the moment to consciously say to yourself, I am going to forego the whole woman thing. I am just going to ignore women and the possibility of romantic love and the possibility of romantic attachment and marriage and all that. I am going to forego that. I am going to go wholeheartedly MGTOW.
Right, so that I can save up tons of resources that I can then give her later. Oh, brilliant!
Wholeheartedly celibate. And focus between 25 and 35 on my career and my business. I'm just going to ignore women. If some woman, random woman, falls into my bed without any effort, well, I'm not going to kick her out of bed. If she's naked, especially if she's hot.
Oh, yeah, you're just so relatable, pal. Yeah, right.
But my point, I'm not going to twist my life for any woman.
Right, at least not until I'm 40. 25 and 35, I won't twist my life. But after 35, then I'll twist my life. And I'll give away all my shit. But not from 25 to 40.
I'm not going to pay attention to women. I'm not
until I'm 40, in which I'll get married and have kids, because, I need them. And at that point, then I can give all my shit to women. This guy.
I'm not going to pursue them. I am going to pursue my career, my business. Because these years between 25 and 35, 40, those are the years to focus on that. So use MGTOW as a tool, as a stage in your life. Think of it as a rocket ship. See, when a rocket takes off, it needs a booster rocket, right? Okay, so you have the booster rocket, at certain stage, at the initial stage of your life, of your professional career. But once, you reach orbit, then you don't need that booster rocket. And then you can discard it. Then you can go and pursue other things.
Like women, right. Yeah, that's a horrible analogy, by the way, pal.
Other relationships that are valuable that will...
Oh, God. So MGTOW is essentially a booster rocket that we need to get into orbit. But once we get into orbit, we don't need it anymore. And, of course, in orbit, of course, I love the analogy. So women are in the sky. Women are like angels, and they're flying around the Earth in orbit. They're celestial beings. And once we reach that orbit, then we can really start our real lives. Interesting analogy.
will give your life meaning.
Okay, so essentially he's a communist. We all need to search for, attain the same meaning. We all have to be equal. We all have to be the same. We all have to be at the same equal level. All losers, all winners, all conforming, all equally the same. Meaning in life is found in marriage. First, it's work, be a good worker, and accumulate resources and assets so that once you hit 40, then you can get married, which should be the goal for everybody, and that's what gives everybody's life meaning, and then do that, and then give all those resources to the woman. Yes, this guy is a simp of the highest order, and he's a communist to boot. Lovely. They seem to be synonymous.
MGTOW is, I believe, extraordinarily seductive. Because
yeah, isn't it seductive? Being able to keep all your own shit, and you can do whatever you want, and even when you're 80, you could be eating fucking pudding for breakfast, or a shot of vodka, and nobody can complain. Yeah, gee, I wonder why that's so seductive.
Clarifies the mind. It clarifies the mind, yet at the same time, it reduces life to the bare bones.
Bare bones, right, bare bones, okay. Like living for myself and finding the meaning in my own existence and not requiring some other person to give my life meaning. That's bare bones? Okay.
And that's not a life you want to be living.
Oh, you're wrong there, buddy. You're wrong there. I've never been happier in my whole freaking life. You have no idea how happy I am. You think I want some nagging, wailing bitch in my life telling me what I can and can't do. You think I need a second mommy? I already had one. She's dead, and she was a cunt when she was alive. I certainly don't need a second one that's breathing to yell in my ear. All right, and that's the end of his video, and he's got some crappy end music. So what did you think of Coach Red Pill? Let me know in the comments section. Please like and subscribe, and donate to my Patreon, because you know that YouTube, of course, will demonetize this as well. I'm the MGTOW philosopher. Have a good day. Take care.